Hey. Oh, I'm having technical problems and I just made a video and this last one cut out in the middle of me and killed me. So I'm hoping, nope, it's going to do it again. I'm going to try to record. I'm going to try to keep recording. Pajama Gramma, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with part 2 of the attractive character. We're talking about the attractive character, and it is so important to work on it, and obviously I'm continually working on my attractive character, that I want to break this down for you in really, really bite-sized pieces. So we talked about yesterday from page 17 of the Expert Secrets book, and I shared this little graphic, and there it is again. And I actually use this one because it's a little easier for me to read with my magnifying glass. That's part of my attractive character. I need a magnifying glass because this Pajama Gramma has vision problems. Can't see out of my left eye, and my right eye is not working too well. So I solved the problem, and I used my magnifying glass. But we talked about yesterday, as part of part 1 of the attractive character, the elements that make up the attractive character, the backstory, the parables, the stories that you're going to tell, you know, your origin story, where you came from, that caused you to want to study whatever it is that you're the expert in, or to learn more, or to become an expert in the area that you're an expert in. So, for example, me, chronic pain, and I'm going to share my examples today as I go through this because I'm hoping that they'll be powerful and help you. And again, I'm always refining and continually improving these things as I study the area and the people I want to help more, and as I learn what's important to them. But I want to share my examples with you. Number 1, you can give me some feedback. And number 2, I'm hoping that they'll help you to see how you can apply it to your area of expertise in your market and the people that you want to serve. So your backstory, my backstory with respect to chronic pain is I was a chronic pain sufferer. And now I still have chronic pain, but I'm no longer a chronic pain sufferer. I use it as the gift that it is, and a symbol and a sign to me that I better pay attention to something that's going on in my life and in my body so that it doesn't become debilitating. Because, you know, sometimes we don't always pay attention. I don't know, maybe just me. And that's my backstory. That's why I originally created my process for dealing with chronic pain and killing it and reclaiming my life. And I've helped a lot of people along the way and over the decades to do the same thing. And just recently, as part of Expert Secrets, discovered I could help a whole lot of people to do this. And there's 1.5 billion people that need help with it. So if I can even help a teeny tiny fraction of them, then I can use that to make the world a better place. My little way to make the world a better place. So that's my backstory with respect to chronic pain. Now, as I mentioned, we all have a ton of stories and a ton of things that we could do and a lot of things that we could share. But I only need to share with the people that I'm talking to the part of my backstory that's important to them to know so that they know that I've been where they are now. Parables, then, are the stories that I'm going to share that I've pulled out and experienced dealing again just with respect to chronic pain as I'm dealing with that audience. They don't care about my business experience. They don't care about the businesses I've run. All they care about is if and how I can help them to kill their chronic pain and get back their life. And so all the stories that I tell will be stories about my health challenges and my health issues and how I overcame them throughout different parts of my past. Character flaws. This is a fun one because we all have them. I got tons. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed them already. I'm in my pajamas, for goodness sakes, and I think it's perfectly reasonable to be able to create a life and live a life that I love in my pajamas. A lot of people might think that that's crazy and that's a character flaw, and I am perfectly awesomely cool with that. I wasn't at first because, you know, everybody wants everybody to like them, and now I'm like, all right, it is a perfect way to filter out the people that I don't want to work with. If people are going to judge that I'm like not competent to share information with them because I'm in my pajamas, then they're obviously not going to be open enough to listen to anything I have to say. And so I can't help them. They need to go to somebody, a straight-laced doctor type, that can help them and tell them exactly what to do. They're not my person and I'm not their person. And that is perfectly okay. And so we want to just identify what character flaws can the people that we ideally want to work with, what can they relate to? Because you know what? We're going to end up attracting a lot of people that have the same character flaws that we do. But you know why that is? It's so that we see those character flaws in other people, and that's how we address them in ourselves. If it's something to address in ourselves, there's a lot of things that other people don't like about us, it just doesn't matter. We don't care whether they like it or not. And then there's some things that, yeah, we should get better at. I need to, and have needed to my entire life, be a better listener. It's a character flaw, and I have to continually work on being a better listener. And, you know, I love what other people have to say. I want to know. That's how I learn, is by listening to other people. So that's a character flaw that I probably need to continually improve on. So I have it, but I also know that I need to always be improving on it. And then polarity. What is our polarity? What do we stand for? That's a little bit different. That's uniquely us, that will attract the people that we want to attract to us and repel the people that we don't want to have be attracted to us. I don't want to work with straight-laced, uptight, perfectionist types. Don't wanna. They make me crazy. Detail-oriented people that can't stand that I need a magnifying glass, or that once in a while I make typos. And, you know, I probably used to be that person that would correct things and send in, oh, you spelled this wrong, or you used the wrong to. And sometimes in marketing and sales, people do that on purpose because they think it's more relatable. I don't like doing it. I still cringe every time I see a text or something that I've sent to my kids that looks like it's a foreign language, because I miss the buttons with my chubby fingers and my eyes that can't actually see it. And I sometimes don't have my magnifying glass right there. I mean, I need a magnifying glass that's hanging around my neck so that I've always got it. My daughter joked that she's been searching for them and is going to find me one. And so pretty soon you'll probably see Pajama Gramma with a little magnifying glass, a moniker, hanging around my neck so that I can see. So that's what we talked about already. And we went through the first 3 of 6 rules of the attractive character. Rule 1, become an attractive character and live the life that your audience wishes they could live. So, are you living the life that your audience wishes they could live? I'm living the Pajama Gramma life. I anticipate and hoping that my audience wants to live a similar life. And, you know, you don't have to be a grandma, but you want to, and by Pajama Gramma life, I personally like to work in my pajamas, but people might not want to. But I mean that you can live comfortably and be true to yourself and create your life and your work on your own terms and your income on your own terms. You don't have to answer to anyone else. And maybe it starts out, it's just a side gig for you. It's just something you're doing part-time, but you want to make it a full-time thing. Or maybe you never do. My dad worked his entire career at a big corporation and had businesses on the side. He didn't want to leave his big corporation. He liked having that as a background and just liked doing other things on the side. Me, on the other hand, in 2004, I left with a big kick in the butt. I was laid off because my company was sold. Corporate America forever, and I have never been back. And I miss some things about corporate America. I loved my jobs and my roles in corporate America. But it was about the 3rd or 4th time that had happened to me, and I just was like, all right, I've had that happen enough. It's time to do something different. And I'd always been like my dad, doing the side things and side businesses. And I decided, okay, it's time to just do the side businesses and the brick and mortar things for a couple of decades. And then now I'm doing the online thing because I want the freedom of being able to work in my pajamas from anywhere so that I can begin more traveling, because the life I want to live is one of some fun adventures in traveling. I've led the corporate mom, do what's right, do what you should do thing, you know, for 58 years. I am ready to leap out and have some more adventures and some more fun experiences. And I'm hoping that that's the life that my followers want to live as well. And you don't have to go on the adventures with me, but you want to live life on your own terms. I need to maintain absolute certainty. Well, I'm absolutely certain that I can help people with chronic pain. I'm absolutely certain I've killed my chronic pain. I am absolutely certain I can help people with businesses and with online businesses as well. Don't be boring. I'm pretty boring. I'm a nerdy engineer, and it is hard for me to not be boring. I mean, super duper hard for me to not be boring, which I think is part of why I've adopted the Pajama Gramma character, because otherwise I'm just freaking boring, and I fall in to the milquetoast category of everybody else who wants to help anybody else kill their chronic pain or do an online business. It's too boring. And it also helps me overcome the fear of age, because I didn't realize it, but I had some age prejudice. As I looked around the internet, all I saw was these young, gorgeous, super successful women. The men in the industry are a little more varied, But the women are all pretty darn hot and pretty energetic and pretty attractive. And I thought, well, how do you at 58 compete with that? You can't compete with that. You got to be yourself. So I decided I am Pajama Grandma, so I'm going to be myself. And hopefully the people that are attracted to that will not find me super boring. And I'm working on getting people to help me not be so boring. So I'd love some feedback on that. Hint, hint. If you can think of ways for me to be me and not be so boring, I would love to hear them because I am open to some feedback in that area. So those were the first 3 rules. Today we're going to add a couple of more rules. Rule number 4, understand how to use persuasion. This is the biggest rule that we're going to talk about today. And maybe it's the only one because I've already been talking for a long time. I was going to talk about the next 2 rules. Rule 5, care a lot. And rule 6, offer them value for their perceived relationship with you. But I think I'll make that part 3. I'm going to make myself a note right now, part 3. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. So today I want to talk about persuasion, because being an attractive character and getting people to, or influencing people, is all about persuasion. And on page 23 of your handy dandy Expert Secrets book is this incredibly awesome graphic. Love this graphic about 1-sentence persuasion. And I don't remember who wrote the book, and I'm not going to look it up with my magnifying glass, but Russell learned this from somebody who he learned this 1-sentence persuasion strategy from. And he breaks it down in the book and explains to us exactly how to apply this to our area of expertise. So I went through and I did this and answered a couple of questions for chronic pain so that I can try to illustrate and help you to see how you can apply it to your area of expertise. And we will discuss it further. If you need any help, go ahead, fill out the Q&A form and ask me questions, because I am here to help you clarify whatever it is that you need to clarify. So what the heck are and is the 5-part persuasion or 1-sentence persuasion? I'm going to use my magnifying glass to read it. Apologize, but I'm not going to apologize because I'm not sorry. I'm actually getting to read this to you. Even if it's with a magnifying glass, I still get to do it. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, I think it's allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. And it's actually Blair Warren that said this. And this is an incredibly powerful statement because it is so true. If you can do a little bit of all those things for your target audience, for the people you want to serve, they will love you. They will follow you. They will have their alarms go off in the middle of your training, which is okay. That is one of my chronic pain strategies. And one of the things I have to do to deal with my chronic pain, I need to set alarms on my phone to remind me, or to be triggers to actually do certain things that are good for my health. And if I don't set those alarms, I don't necessarily do those things. So how do we do these things for people? How do we justify failures, allay their fears, encourage their dreams, confirm their suspicions, and throw rocks at their enemies? It's a lot easier than you think, because these are all things that we human beings are inherently thinking in the background or in a subconscious level all the time anyway. We all have failed at things, and we want to justify our failures. We don't want to feel like it was our fault. Of course not. We're human, but we don't want to think anything's our fault or take responsibility for it, right? We want people to make us feel better, and that's what you can do for your audience as your attractive character. So we're going to answer some questions today that dig deep and get to make it easy to work these things into the information and the way you share and deal with and interact with and communicate with your specific audience. So the first question we're going to ask is, how am I going to encourage my customers' dreams? How can I encourage their dreams? Well, me, for example, I encourage their dreams by helping them to know that no matter what they've been through in the past, it doesn't determine their future. Their future is as bright as they decide they want it to be. I was dead. You guys, I don't think it gets any worse than dead with respect to overcoming chronic pain and dealing with chronic pain. I have worked with people whose medical histories and stories of what's gone on with their pain and what they were experiencing when they first started working with me. Mind-bogglingly, incredibly bad. And they've been able to create the future that they want and overcome and kill their chronic pain. If I can do it, if they can do it, then you can too. And I share stories, specific stories of people and how they've been able to do that, that encourages people to believe in their dreams and to know that no matter how bad and how much pain they're feeling right now, they can do it too. If these people can do it, if I can do it, then you can do it too. That's the gist of that. So how can you do that for your customers? What can you do and say to encourage their dreams? How about confirming their suspicions? What can you do, or what will you do to confirm their suspicions? Now, we all have suspicions, right? So we want to encourage them, and I want to encourage my people with chronic pain to understand that it's not their fault. No matter what has happened in the past, it's not their fault. You know, their past failures, no matter what, is because of other things that they've been told that aren't necessarily the truth. And with this and with all these things, we want to make sure that we're never telling people how to feel. I don't know about you, but my ex-husband, probably part of why he's my ex-husband, is whenever we talked about anything or whenever I shared how I felt about something, it was never right. It was never how I should feel. And he would give me a dozen reasons why I shouldn't feel that way and tell me not to feel that way, and then beat down why I shouldn't feel that way. Well, guess what? We're divorced because I felt the way I felt for a reason. I wanted to be heard for how I felt and understood that my feelings were, I was feeling that way for a reason. So you know what? You can tell me I shouldn't feel that way, but you're not telling me that how I'm feeling, you know, just telling me that how I'm feeling is wrong and I shouldn't feel that way is definitely ever going to stop me from feeling that way. I don't know if I explained that right or not, but basically, bottom line is, don't ever tell people how they should feel. Explain to them, help them, encourage them, share stories and examples with them of how they could be open to feeling a different way, and let them get to that themselves. Don't ever tell them that they shouldn't feel something, because it doesn't work. If somebody's upset, oh, don't be upset. Stop being upset. How much less upset does that make you? Not at all. It usually makes you more upset, right? But if you let people, if you love them and you meet them where they are and you ask them questions and you tell them stories to encourage them to feel the feelings that they're feeling, they'll get through those feelings and they'll move on to the other side much faster, and they won't be upset anymore. That was definitely a rant and a tirade. Guess I still have some pent-up feelings about people telling me how to feel. So, me with chronic pain, it's really, really a touchy thing for people, because so many people in their lives tell them, oh, you can't possibly hurt that much. You shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't be feeling this much pain. We can't see it in your MRI that you're feeling this much pain. They are so not heard and devalued that the biggest thing I need to do is make sure that I'm hearing them, understanding where they are. I know from personal experience that you can feel pain that you honestly think you'd rather die from than continue to live through, because it's so bad. And only people who have experienced that themselves have the faintest idea or clue what that feels like. I'm going to pick on Russell Brunson for a minute, because at Funnel Hacking Live 2018, he was on stage talking about how building a business and being an entrepreneur is like having a baby and painful. And okay, I get what he was doing with that, but I got to tell you, Russell, you don't get to talk about having a baby because you have never had one. You have never experienced that level of pain in your life. And guys, chronic pain is like that, and much, much worse in some instances. I will contend that my kidney stone pain and my kidney infection pain and my chronic pain was much worse than childbirth. And I didn't think that was possible, but after having the kidney issues that I had, childbirth wasn't that bad. So for Russ to get up there and talk about childbirth and compare it to birthing a business, it's not the same thing, people. And people with chronic pain really understand that. So you have to be careful with the things that you make analogies for. Now, if a woman got up there, if Natalie Hudson got up there and told me about childbirth pain, or Julie Stoyan, or anybody else, you know, if it's a woman, I would maybe understand that analogy, but it can't come from a man. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is. You lose credibility when you use an example like that you haven't personally experienced. And I know Russell's watched a lot of kids be born, but it's not the same thing. So be really cognizant of using examples and stories as you're sharing things with people. Make sure that you've been through it, and a lot of things like that when it comes to justifying their dreams and confirming their suspicions and allaying their fears, a lot of times it's really more powerful if it's your actual experience story. But if you don't have one, definitely use someone else's that's really powerful, but somebody that's actually been through that experience. I would have liked that story a lot better if Russell would have given it from his wife's perspective and the pain that she went through. Sorry, Russell, I'm picking on you a little bit, but it's true. So, did I answer that question? I lost track of their answer now. What suspicions will you confirm? I will confirm their suspicions that it's not their fault, that they have been lied to, that they have been given conflicting information that is so confusing that it is no wonder that they're continuing to suffer with chronic pain and have symptoms and struggle and pain that is so much more excruciating than they have to suffer with. What enemies will we throw rocks at? This is probably one of my favorite ones, at least with this niche and with respect to chronic pain, because there are so many freaking enemies to people with chronic pain. Now, people with chronic pain, one of their biggest challenges is they think that chronic pain is their number one enemy. And the reason they think that chronic pain is their number one enemy, and it's not their fault, is because they have been lied to and told that chronic pain itself is the enemy, and that it's not necessarily real because it's in their head. They're just imagining it. You know, they've been told so much crap. It just freaks me out. And I've experienced some of that, but early on developed thick enough skin to know that whoever told me that was completely and utterly full of shit, and that I should not believe them. I should listen to myself, because it's me living in my skin and knowing what's going on with me, no one outside of me. But most people haven't figured that out. Most people that are still suffering from chronic pain and experiencing chronic pain on a daily excruciating basis have not figured that out. But the enemies to people with chronic pain, oh my God, the American Medical Association. Sorry guys, you are an enemy to people with chronic pain. You purport, just like a lot of organizations, that you're there to support and help them, but you're not. The government agencies, you know, Social Security, disability, they are not the friends of people with chronic pain. Again, they're there to serve people with chronic pain, but they don't. They are, a lot of times, our enemies. Insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, pharmacists, the list of enemies to people with chronic pain dressed up as people that are supposed to help them is almost mind-boggling. It's definitely unconscionable. So I don't have any trouble finding folks to throw rocks at in terms of enemies to people with chronic pain. Sad, but true. Even the food industry. Oh my God. You know, I'm speechless because there's so many enemies that, and it's not even hard. I can put my foot in the stream and I'm stepping on an enemy, right? With respect to people with chronic pain. What fears can I allay? And allay means diminish or put to rest. What fears of people with chronic pain can I put to rest? Well, the fear that they can't kill their chronic pain and that they have to live this way and that there's nothing that they can do because that's what the doctors have told them, and that they can't have the life of their dreams, and that their life sucks and they're going to be however they are right this minute forever. That is the major fear that I work to allay for people and help them to know with 100% certainty that how they're feeling right this very instant, no matter how bad it is not their life. It is not what they can expect for their future. It is not what they have to accept, no matter what anyone has ever told them. And I give the examples of my life and me being dead and all the things that I've been through, because I've been through a plethora of stuff. And then I've got people whose stories, you guys, I've got people whose stories, I mean, they make me cry just thinking of them and the things that people have been through. Yet they're on the other side of that, living their life. I mean, and other people have stories of people that they know and love and care about that have been been mind-boggling, and they still are living a life and carving out and creating a life that is wonderful for them, no matter what they've been through. And if they can do it, if I can do it, then I know that the people that I'm helping to get through their chronic pain and kill their chronic pain, that they can do it too. I have yet to find somebody that can't do this, that can't improve what's going on in their life and take their life back. What common failures will you justify? Biggest one for me is, and with respect to chronic pain, is the common failure of believing that they're stuck and that what they're living right now is the best that they can expect and that it's going to continue to get worse. That is such a common, it makes me almost cry when I go on the forums and the focus groups and the things for chronic pain. I've only been following them for a couple months since I decided I was gonna actually do something about chronic pain. It's just new that I've decided to do something with chronic pain. But the first thing I did is what I advise you to do: start joining some groups and forums that talk directly to and deal with the people that you want to serve, and listen to what's going on, see what's going on. And oh, I have a puppy visiting me. I didn't even see her. I didn't even see her come in. And paying attention to what's going on there. But so many people actually believe and feel like where they are right now is super bad, and they don't know how they're going to tolerate it getting worse, but they know that it's going to continue to decline and get worse. I am here to tell them that it's a common failure. That belief that it's going to get worse is a failure. The belief that there's nothing they can do is a common failure. The belief that and it's not their fault. It's the thing that the experts are telling them. It's the things that they believe because their family and friends are telling them, and they're seeing other people continue to suffer and deteriorate with age. It's the age-old lie that we're told that life is going to suck when we get older. Only in America do they tell you life is going to suck and disrespect people that are older. It's ridiculous. I am so much freaking smarter and better, and I'm actually healthier than I was in my 20s. And I'm healthier than all the 20-somethings living in my house, which is really amazing, right? I am actually, from a pain standpoint, in much better shape than the other people that live in my household. And that is another reason that I'm so passionate about doing the work with the people with chronic pain. People need to know that they can do something about this. So, you know, people just thinking that they're going to waste away and continue to get worse and that there's nothing they can do, and they're going to die because the DEA and the government is getting involved in regulating one little aspect, you know, medications. They're going to do that, and that without that, they're going to die. That's probably the biggest common failure that I need to help people overcome, is the belief that without their medications, there's nothing they can do, and they're going to fail for sure because they don't have this medication. So that's another one I just thought of. See, talking about it helps me decide. So that's just a little bit of discussion. I'm going to create a worksheet for you, of course, to help you along the lines of this, but I wanted to work through it with my examples. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any comments or advice for me, please share them, and I will do the same with you. Comment, do your worksheets, and we'll talk about them on the calls, but comment if you've got any questions, and if I can help you clarify any of this. Read the pages in the book, assuming you've gotten your book already. If you haven't, this is enough to start working on. And when you get your book, we're only a few pages into it. So I think this is page 23 that we start talking about this. So we're like 25 pages into it. Anybody can catch up reading 25 pages. I can read 25 pages with my magnifying glass. So if I can do 25 pages with my magnifying glass in a couple of hours and catch up, then anyone can. If you're blind, get the audiobook. Which, okay, why don't I have the audiobook? You're probably asking yourself, right? Because I like books. I don't know if you noticed, but I write in my book. I write in and I take notes, and I usually highlight, but this is my third copy. So, and I'm using it just for this specific coaching program. So I'm trying to not write everything in it. I'm trying to just write my notes with respect to going through the training. That's all I have today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm already excited about today. Go out, make it wonderful. Do your homework. Start thinking about these things. Ask yourself the questions in the morning, and just as you go about your day, watch how many things pop into your mind that you can scribble on your worksheet about this. That's how I did mine. That's how I do mine. And just talking through it with you, I came up with more ideas. So that's it. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow with part 3 of The Attractive Character. Bye. Pajama Grandma out.